to Veterans Health Watch. We're coming to you from the Baltimore VA Medical Center with a program sponsored by the VA Maryland healthcare system that provides the latest health and benefits information to Maryland's veterans, their family members, and the local community. I'm Kenya Griffin. Like most Americans, we don't give much thought to our health care until something goes wrong and we need it. Today, we're talking to veterans about enrolling for VA healthcare so it's there for them when they need it. Welcome my first guest, veteran Robert Johansson Jr. Mr. Johansson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Ms. Kenya. I appreciate.
What are the circumstances surrounding you enrolling for VA healthcare?
I was having at first hip problems, of course. They say old paratroopers, they need a hip replacement or something like that. And at first just thought it was my knee going out, but no, it also, your hip affects your leg movements as well. So I went to primary care, not just civilian-wise, and they were saying nothing's wrong and this and that. So I said, well, I found out about the VA, and they can take care of me as well, and I could get benefits through the VA. So I went to the VA, and they found, yep, one hip replacement, something was wrong. Got one hip, and then I had to get the other one like a year later.
So you were seeing a provider in the community or someone outside of the VA, and then did that not work out? And then you came to the VA, or someone told you about the VA?
Yes, someone told me about the VA, and then my dad, he went on his computer, which is the best way to do it, or just come in, by yourself and enroll. It was pretty easy. It was very easy enrollment.
Good. And how's your healthcare been with the VA since then?
Absolutely outstanding. The orthopedic surgeons, they were wonderful. The aftercare was wonderful as well, because I got to actually go back to work. Went to the seafood manager at Safeway and everything for a whole year. The other hip went out. Got another hip replacement. Then got better as well. And just recently I've had 2 heart stent surgeries back to back last year. One in August, one in September. And luckily they found it because there was 100% blockage instead of 70% blockage. And 5 days later, my mom passed away from cancer and everything, but at least I got to see her before she passed away.
And thankfully you had that health care to keep you around to see her before
ma'am.
She passed away.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you so much for your service. We have Lindsay Wilson, who is a social worker for the VA Maryland healthcare system. Lindsay, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you heard Mr. Johansson's story about he used the community provider, which you can use with your VA service, but it took him a while to come to the VA until he needed it, actually. Is that typical?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common occurrence. We find a lot, especially as our veteran populations are aging, that people are kind of coming in when they need the enhanced services that we can offer at the VA. We're a lot of times getting calls from veterans or their families, sometimes when it's actually like a crisis, to get in and get the services that we have here.
So would you say how much more helpful is it to apply for VA healthcare and be enrolled in the system before you come to a health crisis or an emergency when you need it?
Well, I think it's always helpful to plan ahead for these things. I think if you enroll earlier, you can be more aware of all the services that are available and how to get them going. And you won't have as much of a delay necessarily in getting connected to the specialty services that you might need.
Right. And also you talked about some of the specialty services and the services you need. Tell us a little bit about the variety of services the VA offers.
Yeah, so we have quite a wide variety. Mr. Johansson talked about orthopedics, cardiology. We have sort of a whole slew of specialty services, from physical therapy and occupational therapy to GI. We have women's health services. In addition to coming in for health care, we have home-based primary care and home health aid services. We have homeless services. There's social workers here to kind of help address all the other areas of life in addition to supporting your health care. So we sort of run the gamut of what you might need here at the VA.
And as a social worker, social workers are in different areas of the healthcare system. Tell us about how that's set up and how it actually helps to facilitate veterans navigating the system?
Sure. So I've worked most of my time here in primary care. So for most veterans, that's an entry point into VA services. So we're knowledgeable kind of about everything that we have available. There's social workers in the mental health clinic providing services there, on our inpatient units, helping to make sure that, like I said, all needs are addressed, kind of like the whole person. We have social workers in homeless services, and sometimes connected to some of the medical specialty clinics, just to help kind of address all the other needs that maybe a doctor or nurse necessarily can't do, whether it comes to transportation or housing.
I understand you had a special visit with someone who also wanted to thank you for their service, Secretary of the Department of Veterans Affairs, Secretary Wilkie. Tell me about that visit.
Oh, it was absolutely wonderful. He's very cordial. He's very nice. He not just shook her hand and walked away like, you thought a lot of big wigs would do. He actually took about a good 4 minutes to find out my background and how well I've been taken care of and everything, thanking me for my service. He was just, you could tell he was interested in taking care of us. And before he left, I patted him on the shoulder and I said, "Please take care of us, sir." And he said, "I definitely will, Robert." And I actually remember my name and said my name cordially and so pleasant. Nice guy. He's going to take care of us.
And you have something there in your hand?
Yes, ma'am. He gave me a challenge coin, it's called, a commemorative coin from the VA, and feel the weight of that.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I didn't expect it to be that heavy.
Lindsay,
I didn't expect it to be that heavy.
check that out. It's very nice, really wonderful.
And I also understand, you've said great things about the VA. You had your hip replacement surgery, and for someone in the position you had in the military, you said that was almost inevitable. You've heard that you're probably going to have that surgery. And I understand you like to give compliments to the VA for their healthcare, for the services you get. Tell us about that and why you feel that's important.
They have a patient's advocate office up here, and you can go in there, and usually people always put in complaints all the time and everything. So I put in a lot of compliments for people doing a good job, because everybody likes a good compliment about themselves and doing good work, and they're even going to do better work if they have somebody say, "Good job, well done."
Thank you so much. We appreciate you and your service, and we also appreciate the compliments. It does encourage us to step it up and keep doing a good job. Thank you both for joining us today. I really enjoyed hearing your story, Mr. Johansson, and thank you for your service. And Lindsay, thank you for the work you do for our veterans.
Thank you, Lindsay.
There are lots of misconceptions out there about enrolling for VA healthcare, so please stay tuned and hopefully we'll shed some light on some of the myths.
I'm Catherine Willey, the Chief of Nutrition and Food Services at the VA Maryland Healthcare System. I'm here at the Baltimore VA Medical Center, where you might find yourself hungry after all of your appointments. Good news, we've got the Patriot Cafe right here behind me, and I want to talk to you about some healthier options in the canteen when you're here on your visit. So let's go check out what's inside. We're at the hot entree line, and when you're looking for options here, you want to look for things that are baked, grilled, broiled. So let's see what we've got today. Aubrey, what are you serving?
Okay, so today on our menu we have some tilapia, baked tilapia that's in a butter broth sauce here. Also, we have jerk pork chop, which is very delicious in a jerk broth. Also, we have some cilantro rice and some collard greens. And these are very healthy options. As you can see here, with the choice of a bottled water or a diet soda, you're at 340 calories, so it's really healthy. And every day on our menu, we provide a healthy option for our customers that come in here to give them what they want.
Thank you. That's wonderful information.
So what would you have having today, Kat?
I think I'm going to take the pork chop, please.
Pork chop. Awesome.
Some greens
Great
and some rice.
choice.
The canteen also offers grilled items. Now, you may know this for the hot dogs, the chicken fingers, some of the less healthier options, but you can get some healthy options here. The grill offers some nice grilled chicken sandwiches. You can get a plain hamburger. Now in addition, you can get fresh fruit or a side salad on the side with a water or a diet soda for healthier options over French fries or potato chips. If you're in a hurry, the Canteen has a grab and go section. A lot of healthy options like fresh fruit cups. They have boiled eggs here. A yogurt and granola parfait. The Canteen also now offers sushi. A seaweed salad is always a great option. They also have a nice fresh vegetable cup. It's got a pre-portioned amount of ranch dressing so you don't go overboard on the dressing. In another one of the grab and go coolers, there are some great sandwich options. You want to stick with the lower fat, lower sodium meats. Turkey, roast beef are always good options. There are great side salads in this cooler. There's some fruit and cheese cups as well. Now, if you want a bigger salad, don't worry, the Canteen has a salad bar. If you're looking for healthier beverage options, your best bet is always going to be water. If you want a little something else, we've got some low-fat milk here, diet sodas. At a last resort, you want to choose juice or regular soda. Juice is kind of like regular soda. It's got a lot of sugar, not a lot of health benefits because it's taken all the fiber out of the fruit. So best bet, stick with the water. Looks like I'm ready to check out, but I think I forgot dessert. Good thing they've got some fresh fruit up here. I think I'm gonna grab an orange and I'm good to go.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you? Have a good one.
Thank you. Looks like I'm off to enjoy a delicious, healthy meal from the Baltimore Patriot Cafe.
Welcome back to Veterans Health Watch. It seems like everywhere you go, you come across a dog who is more than just man's best friend. This dog has a job. It could be a service dog, a therapy dog, or emotional support dog. And here to help us make sense of it all are a few experts. Thank you all for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So Nikki, help us understand the difference between the service dog and the emotional support dog and a therapy dog.
Sure. Well, we're from Hero Dogs, and we primarily train service dogs. Typically, if you encounter a dog in public, in a grocery store, on public transportation, and it's wearing a vest, that is typically going to be a service dog because they're the only ones that have public access rights under the law. So that's not to say you won't find some that have purchased vests and are not actually working as service dogs. So some of the behavioral things you can look for is very good eye contact between the dog and its handler, exceptional behavior. They will be, very, very close to their partner and looking for cues that it's time to work.
Yeah, I've noticed that. You talk about the exceptional behavior, the cues. Our dog here has not put his head down since we've been here. And Devora, as a veteran, thank you for your service. Tell us about how this dog, what kind of dog do you have?
Actually, I have a service dog
Okay.
who has also been co-trained as a therapy dog. So when she's not working as a service dog, she has a dual purpose of a therapy dog.
And so as a veteran, how has she helped you in her role as a service dog?
Oh, she's made my life again.
Mm-hmm.
When I came back, I didn't want to be back, and I had a lot of the symptoms of PTSD. I didn't want to leave. I isolated. I only left the house to go to appointments, and even then, unfortunately, I was falling a lot. I had a really hard time actually getting out of my bed, getting out of chairs, things like that. So she made it to where I didn't feel bad being in public in case I did fall. So she actually helps me with my mobility so that if I start to weeble and wobble, she keeps me standing on my 2 feet.
And so you said something really important there, that she has a specific role. She actually helps you with your mobility. And as a service dog, Nikki, tell us a little bit more about how these service dogs are trained
Sure.
to be there for them. providers?
Well, we're happy to show you some of the skills that a dog like Kirby can learn that will help alleviate some of the challenges associated with psychological and physical disabilities. So they're basically trained to pick up anything you could drop. Keys, cell phones is a pretty common thing. I drop mine all the time.
Oops, take it.
They can pick up money. They can hand it to cashiers if you're shopping.
Oh, wow.
Another skill that we teach is touch, which is a foundation level skill that can be then transitioned into closing drawers, doors, turning on lights, opening doors in public spaces, designed for people with disabilities. So a number of different things. He's also trained to provide emotional support for someone who might be suffering from a traumatic brain injury or post-traumatic stress disorder. You will see him do it now. He will put pressure on Becca's foot and lean into her to let her know that he's there if she needs him.
Okay. And I see that, that like you said, he's being attentive, and I see that both the dogs are, this dog is wearing a vest, and there's some sort of identification. And Chris, as the chief of social work, you work in VA medical centers. Can you tell us how the VA works with veterans who may need a service dog?
Certainly. So we do have a lot of veterans who could benefit from a service animal. So some of our veterans who are dealing with maybe visual impairment, also hearing loss or mobility issues, we certainly can help link veterans to organizations that provide dogs. The VA does not actually provide the dog itself, but we can help, make that link, also help with some of the transportation so that the dog and the veteran can get linked together. And we also provide some veterinary support because, this is almost like a prosthetic type of item for the veteran to help them in their mobility. But a lot of our veterans, in addition to having maybe the mobility issues, they may also have some emotional needs that go along with that, and the animals are wonderful at providing that type of emotional support. We definitely see our veterans talk about having decreased anxiety. They get out into the community more often, so they're being active. That activity also helps boost their cardiovascular health, decreases things like hypertension. So there's an all-around benefit to having the service animal.
And when we are in the medical center or a restaurant or out in public, how should a person approach the dog? We see these dogs and they're beautiful, they look so sweet, and we just want to pet them. But they're working, just like we're all working, and there's a certain decorum we have. Nikki, how should someone approach a service dog?
I mean, you're absolutely correct in that they typically shouldn't be approached, but always ask. Speak to the handler. They may be okay with you greeting their dog. The dogs may know a command to say hello. We teach our dogs to be able to say hello because people just really can't keep away from them, which is understandable. So the best thing to do is just always check in with whoever is handling the dog to see if it's okay.
Right. And Devorah, because you mentioned that your dog Daffy, and I'm sorry I didn't mention her name, has a dual role. She's your service dog, but then she also can transition to a therapy dog. Tell us about what you two do as a team with our veterans.
Well, actually, I am fortunate enough to be able to be a volunteer at the VA. So Daffy and I will go around, and when somebody is in need or when we are in our volunteer mode and they want to say hello, I will put her in that mode by giving her that command that you had mentioned, a certain command. And she knows with a lot of training that she's no longer in a service dog mode, and she'll be able to go in and not only help staff, because staff have a hard time and a long day too dealing with us veterans, so go in and say hello and help lower their blood pressure. And sometimes there's veterans that are in the hospital for an extended length of time and they miss their dogs at home, who may not be service dogs, but they miss their dogs. So just having a happy smiling dog come in and say hi to them can really alleviate the frustration of them having to be an inpatient for so long.
And this is something that we see over at our community living center at Loch Raven with our hospice unit. We have therapy dogs that come through to meet with the veterans and also the family and staff, as you mentioned, because when you're working around a hospice situation, it can be very difficult and emotionally charging. So having that dog there for the veteran, the staff, and the family is very supportive.
And Nikki, when we talk about the service dog and the therapy dog and the training, I would think it's a little different when you have a service dog who is there to
physically and literally do something for someone or help someone do something who may have a disability. And then you talk about a dog who's visiting with some of the veterans in the medical center. What's the training difference like for those dogs?
Sure. Well, to make a service dog like Kirby's going to be is really a 2.5 to 3 year process. So very, very involved while they're learning their skills. For people who are interested in having their pets be a therapy dog, there's a lot of reputable organizations that will certify therapy dogs with a certain number of hours. There's a AKC Good Citizen test that is a really good entry into that world, but the very, very different purposes, a therapy dog and a service dog.
Yeah, and we talked about when people come across the dogs, they don't quite know how to approach them. But if you have a dog and then someone else has a therapy dog, how do those interactions go sometimes? And what should people with dogs know about when they see a service or a therapy dog, and how that interaction should?
Typically, it's best to steer clear of a working dog in public if you have another dog with you. It doesn't mean that the encounter would go negatively. It just means that that dog has a purpose and it's working, and that purpose at that moment is not to be a pet or to interact with other dogs. And our dogs will typically turn and go the other direction. They understand that they're working and it's not playtime.
Okay. And what about you, Devorah? What has your experience been with other dogs and Daffy and
Actually, pretty much the same. Usually if I let the person, the other handler, know she's working, she's a service dog, they're like, oh, okay, all right, thank you for letting me know. And we usually will have a conversation. And that's what I like to engage people the most to understand, is that when you approach somebody that does have a service dog, you're not approaching the dog, you're approaching the person. So really, as Chris was saying, that dog is an extension of me. So you're not addressing the dog, you're addressing the person, the handler. So that's one of the things that I like to educate people about.
And I think you've made a great point that the dog's an extension of you, and it's been trained. It's a serious training. It's a serious thing that this dog, a serious job, a role that this dog has, and it's not just. And we love our pets, and I've grown to love dogs a little bit more now that I've met some of them. I wasn't a dog person, but they do have a role and a job to do, especially helping out veterans. So we thank you for your time, for training them, and Devorah, thank you for your service. Chris, thanks for what you do for our veterans at the VA.
Oh, thanks.
Also, thank you for your service, Chris.
Oh, thank you very much.
And thank you guys, Kirby and Daffy. Yes, okay.
It's nice to come down here because I don't feel all alone. And whatever sacrifices I had to make is nothing compared to what they had to do. This is my service dog, Adonis. And I've had him for about 2.5 years now. He can tell if I'm tense, if I'm starting to get irritable or agitated. He won't stop until I acknowledge him. And he kind of diffuses the situation. If I'm not having a good day and I'm feeling depressed, don't feel like getting out of bed, I really don't have a choice, because he'll come and get my blankets and pull my blankets off me. Then I'll take them back, then he'll pull them off again, and until I get up. And so he forces me to get out of bed and do something instead of laying in bed all day. He loves being close.
I definitely think the women's clinic makes a difference, in that I am already very comfortable with the VA. And being able to utilize the facilities there, as opposed to having to gallivant all over Dallas to try to find someone, it makes a huge, huge difference. Now, when I was pregnant with my daughter, there were some things that I had to go elsewhere to do, and I found it very difficult to navigate those systems after having the experience that I have in the VA. So it has made a huge difference. For me, the difference is the comfort level. I know that at the VA, I know what to expect. I know that I can go there and I know who I'm going to see. I know how to navigate around where I'm trying to go. I know that if I need something, that they'll be able to find it or help me find it. So I thoroughly appreciated and enjoyed my visits with the VA. I never felt cold or out of place. I always felt comfortable. Women do not self-identify as veterans first, but in the women's clinic, they are veterans. Most of the staff are female veterans. They are knowledgeable and they understand what the female veterans are going through when they're there. Knowing that you're dealing with people who have been through the same things that you've been through on every level, not just as veterans and having been somewhere, but as female veterans. The VA provides almost everything that a female veteran needs. I have had my gyno visits there, all my mammograms there. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I went through the majority of my prenatal visits at the VA. It's a one-stop women's shop.
Hello everyone, my name is Celestine Jennings and I'm Assistant Chief of Medical Administration here at the Baltimore VA Medical Center. And today I'm going to show you how easy it is to enroll. Follow me. When you walk into our spacious enrollment center here at 10 North Green Street, you will see that how easy it is to enroll and you will be greeted by one of our enrollment clerks. You start by checking in at the kiosk. You will start with how may I help you today? By pressing that option, you will see that there are many options and you can press speak with an enrollment specialist. There you will get a ticket, and once your number is called, then you will proceed to the booth where you are called. Things that you may want to consider to bring when you're coming in to enroll: your ID, your DD-214, and also, if you're a service-connected veteran, please bring your awards letter. If you don't have these things, that doesn't stop you from enrolling. We have highly trained, skilled enrollment staff here in our enrollment center that are here to help you. Our enrollment center is open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We also have enrollment staff at any of our community outpatient-based clinics. You can also enroll online. If you are a veteran who has visited other outpatient clinics or other VAs, you also can enroll over the phone. So remember, please enroll today. See, it's really easy to enroll, so come in soon. That way, when you need us, we'll be here to help.
That's all for this edition of Veterans Health Watch. Remember, if you are a veteran or you know a veteran who is not using the VA Maryland healthcare system, please visit our website, stop by one of our facilities, or give us a call. We'd love to serve you. See you again next time. You can find more episodes of Veterans Health Watch on our YouTube channel. Just type in VA Maryland Healthcare System in the search bar. And be sure to hit the subscribe button to get notifications of new videos. Don't worry, it's free. We'll see you on the next Veterans Health Watch.